Welcome back to UFC Live. KB, Paul, and Dean with you. And guys, yeah, we've got top 10 welterweights in action in our main event on Saturday night. It is such a great fight. Capping off a 5-fight main card. Let's see what's on tap. Lightweights, Trevor Peek versus Yanal Ashmouz. We've got flyweights actually contesting at bantamweight for the short notice. It's Schnell versus Durden at bantam. Garcia versus Nelson is going to be a fun fight. Flyweights, Jessica Andrade and Natalia Silva. Brazil versus Brazil. And then, of course, leading up to our welterweight main event, and there they are. Gilbert Burns, the former title challenger, up against Sean Brady, a rising star. And Paul, the former title challenger, recognizes that there are some similarities between himself and his opponent, but Gilbert has way more high-level experience inside the octagon. And so I'm curious, because of that strength of schedule, should we expect him to be leading the dance?
I think that Gilbert is going to have to lead the dance on the feet and really apply pressure to Sean, right? Because Sean's lone loss is to the champion now, Bilal Muhammad. He's going to look at that and see what did he do to force Sean to crack a bit, right? That's what we saw in that fight. But Sean couldn't get the fight to where he wanted it, and Gilbert's got to try to do that same thing. And that may mean wrestling Sean. It may mean trying to get top pressure and putting Sean, who's a great grappler himself, on his back where he's not necessarily the strongest. And Gilbert, though, has that experience on the feet, has the knockout power. I expect him to really try to just get in Sean's fate, apply a lot of striking pressure from the beginning of the fight.
And he's so skilled, and that's the one thing I've always said about Gilbert. And 2 years ago, I thought he was the most skilled welterweight in the world, top to bottom, in terms of his grappling, his striking, his ability to win fights, and his competitiveness. He's going to have to rely on all that in this fight because he's fighting a younger guy who's very similar to him, but younger.
Right. Well, so here's the thing, Dean. You're actually going to be in Sean Brady's corner. And in general, as a coach, you're very much in demand. So what was it about Sean Brady, the man and or the fighter, that made you want to work with him?
Well, I'm an opportunist. Honestly, I'm an opportunist.
Payday.
And yeah, no, payday. No, not the payday. But the fact that we have a young man who is in the window of his prime. And I know what it takes in order to be the best in the world. And it only happens inside that window. And Sean has a commitment about his craft and a desire to improve that I said, if I can be a part of this to help see him succeed, I want to be a part of that. And he's fantastic everywhere. He's great on his feet. He has an underrated striking ability. He's good on the ground, and he's super strong. Ask anybody who's tied up with him, they're just like, oh, my God.
I tell every single person that I have ever worked with, whether it be on the analyst side or the fighting side, that he is the strongest human being that I have ever trained with MMA anywhere that I've ever trained. And I've trained in a lot of different camps all over the world, a lot of different training partners, and he's the most dedicated young man that I have ever worked with. I knew Sean from when he was 19 as an amateur training with us in Philly, and that kid has just grinded and worked his way. And again, like Dean talked about, his ability to want to push and learn new things is incredible. He's really getting the shine he finally deserves, and he's put the work in to do that. And unfortunately, he's got to work with Dean sometimes, so, you know. No, it's a great combo.
It is. And we do want to hear his thoughts on this. Charly Arnolt spoke with Sean earlier today.
Guys, thank you so much. Sean, almost time to fight. Yeah. You mentioned it was a really long camp, but you said also a really good camp. Yeah. So how are you feeling at this very moment, physically, mentally, et cetera?
I feel great. I just made weight. That's always the hardest part, but I'm a true professional in and out of the gym, so I make it as easy as possible. I was on weight last night, so now we just get to drink and eat and make it official. But no, tomorrow's the fight, and I've trained super hard, super long for this. And I'm just excited, and I'm excited for the opportunity.
So talk to me about camp. Was there anything you specifically worked on, maybe a little bit different from past camps? Anything to better prepare yourself for Gilbert Burns?
I've always trained hard, but really just being intentional with the work that I was doing. The sparring sessions were super intense, and just staying present and just making sure I'm focused on what I'm doing in that moment. And yeah, they were all, it was almost, I had to do more, like make sure I was doing the recovery to make sure that the training was getting the fueling that it needed. So I just need to take a step back and trust my body. And yeah, it's the best I've ever felt.
Sometimes it's tough to slow down, right?
Yeah, you always you think you want to do more. More is better, but that's not true when you're doing as much work as we're doing. We're doing 3 practices a day. So an extra run or an extra practice isn't going to make me better. A day off or a session off and a massage and stuff like that is going to make me a better fighter for the next day.
A massage always makes me, I won't say a better fighter, but definitely a better person for the next day. A lot of people expecting you to take this to the mat in a hurry, but you mentioned you might have some tricks up your sleeve. So care to shed any insight on that?
It's an MMA fight. If it hits the mat, it's going to hit the mat, but I'm not going to be in a rush to take it to the ground. Gilbert's a great striker. I'm a very good striker, and I'm looking to test his striking, and I'm looking to show everyone what I've worked on in the last 10 months.
I know you definitely have it on your mind to get into the top 5, which is something that could have been accomplished, not at this very moment, because of the fight being rescheduled, or rather shifted. What's your move to get into the top 5? What do you hope to be next from you with the win?
I beat Gilbert Burns. I'm right there, I'm either number 6 or number 5. So, and then after that, I'll be fighting someone that's number 5 or in the top 5, and then I'll get there. It's not a rush. One fight at a time, Gilbert Burns, and then whoever's next.
Gilbert Burns, massage, then whoever's next.
Yes, Gilbert Burns, massage, hang out my wife, hang out my family back in Philly. The Eagles are playing today. Go Birds.
Love it. Well, good luck to you, and thank you so much. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a look at his work in his last 5 fights. They're actually bookended with performance bonuses. He got one for the sub win over Gastelum and also for the sub win over Aguilar. In there is a loss to Bilal, wins over Chiesa and Matthews as well. And Dean, what do you think the takeaway was from that loss to the current champ?
I think it's great, especially when you see what the current champ has done afterwards. So you can't look at that and go, oh, my goodness, I can't believe I lost. He lost to the best welterweight in the world. And losing is always good. I don't care what anybody says. You got to be able to take a loss and bounce back.
Yeah, you just want to limit them, right? But obviously in this sport, you're going to take them. And I think you're 100% right. When you see what Bilal has gone on and do, a lot of people talked a lot of trash. Oh, Sean, getting at him on social media. And then it's like you look and you see finally how good Bilal Muhammad is. So if you're going to take a loss, man, best to be to the current champ.